Are you as excited as I am to find out when United Airlines is accepting flight attendant applications again? It's going to be soon, and I cannot wait to talk about United Airlines with you. In this video, we're going to talk about, I'm going to tell you when they're going to begin accepting applications. I'm going to do that right at the beginning, just in just a second. And then I'm going to give you some tips and information that you need before you apply. So this is tips for your resume, tips for your application, and also we're going to go over some requirements and some requirements that are probably a little bit looser than you might be surprised to find out, like about tattoos. And then I'm going to share with you the current interview process that United Airlines has been using most recently since they began interviewing people again in 2021 after the big hiring freeze. So we're going to go over the interview process, what you can expect, and I'm also going to give you some clues as to what questions you maybe should be focusing on and preparing for the interview. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm Abby Unger. I am the owner and founder of Flight Attendant Career Connection, which is a company that offers resources, community, coaching, and encouragement to aspiring and ambitious. Oh my gosh, I forgot the second A. Don't you love alliteration? Ambitious and aspiring and ambitious flight attendants. I have a Facebook group called Flight Attendant Career Connection. I would love for you to join if you're not already a member. I'm going to put the link down below. My mission is to help aspiring flight attendants land their dream job faster and with less frustration. So that's what we're all about here at Flight Attendant Career Connection. Now let's talk about United. United Airlines will begin. They sent out an email to some of their employees yesterday. Today, I'm recording this. It is January 27th, 2022. They sent out an email to some of their employees yesterday announcing that they will begin accepting English only, non-language of destination. That means you don't have to speak a second language. Flight attendant applications on February 1st, 2022. I haven't heard a time yet, so we want to just be ready. Usually they don't open the applications right at midnight in the middle of the night. It's usually during the day. We sometimes can predict based on where headquarters is, if it's going to be like earlier in the day, later in the day. United's headquarters is in Houston, which is Central Time Zone. So we should be looking mid-morning, maybe, hopefully, for those applications to be open. So I'm so excited. I can't believe. I know that Delta recently accepted applications. American, I think, is currently still accepting applications. There's dozens of airlines in the United States that are accepting applications. There's a link in the description of this video that will send you to a page that lists all the airlines that are currently accepting applications, if you're curious to know who, besides the ones I just named, are accepting applications. But we're talking about United in this video. I have kind of an interesting history with United Airlines. Some of you may know this. I'm going to put the link to the full video in the description, but United Airlines was my very first airline that I got hired with. I got hired in 2006 as a flight attendant with United Airlines. I went through training. They were the only airline I applied with at the time. It was almost on a whim. It was like almost a fluke that I even ended up there. And an amazing, I guess fluke is the wrong word. It was nothing but providence and serendipity that I ended up in United training. But after flying for about 3 weeks, I had a huge mishap with crew scheduling, misunderstanding, and ended up missing a trip. And because I was on new hire probation, I was without a lot of pomp and circumstance, fired from United Airlines. So I have kind of like an interesting history with them. Also, I went on though within a few months. So I got fired in July, and then by October, I was in training with Continental Airlines. Now, United and Continental have now merged. So I had a great experience at Continental, didn't get fired, and did get fired from United, but they always have a soft spot in my heart because they're the ones who first saw the flight attendant, inside of me. And they're the ones that gave me the opportunity to really meet the career and fall in love with it. So I always have a special place in my heart for United Airlines. Again, I'll put the full video in the comments because I know, it's like, where's the tea if you got fired? But anyways, it's actually a heartbreaking story. So Whatever. Moving on. United is unionized. They are unionized through the AFA, the American Flight Attendant Association. United Airlines, the very first flight attendant, Ellen Church in the United States was a United Airlines flight attendant. So that's really cool. So they are sort of the birthplace of the flight attendant career, which I think is really, really neat. I remember when I was in training there and learning about her and feeling such like a kindred spirit, to be working for an airline that had the very first flight attendant. Pretty cool. After that, let's talk about after that. Next, let's talk a little bit about uniform guidelines because I love this about United. United, as well as all the other airlines in most companies, but all the other airlines, United is moving towards a more diverse and inclusive and equitable company workplace culture. One of the ways that United is showing us that they really, really mean business, and this is not just buzzwords on a page, is they have revamped their uniform guidelines to be more inclusive. So this includes visible tattoos. You can have a visible tattoo on your arms, wrist, legs, and or feet. They do need to be, the visible part of it needs to be smaller than a credit card. So if you have a sleeve, you could wear a long sleeve and some of it could peek out, but you couldn't just wear a short sleeve and just like show all of it. But you can have those sort of peekaboo tattoos, or if you have a small tattoo on your foot, small tattoo on your wrist, small tattoo on your arm, like if it's up here or something, that would work. That's within uniform guidelines. So you can have a visible tattoo. You also can have 2 piercings in each ear in the lobe. When I was in United training, we could not. We could only have 1. And then you can also have a nose ring. What? Nose ring? Yes. So they are definitely working towards being more inclusive and embracing diversity within their work group. Also, the makeup guidelines are without gender. So anyone can wear makeup. It just needs to be conservative, which is another nod to diversity, inclusion, and equality, which is pretty neat. And part of the reason, even if you don't fall under these things, even if you don't have a nose ring and you don't have any tattoos, this is good information for you to know because it really, really shows how much the company is working towards creating a place that makes everyone feel included and welcome, which speaks a lot for company culture. They have crew bases. Here's where their crew bases are: Chicago, Denver, Houston, Los Angeles, Newark, San Francisco, and Washington Dulles. Chicago is O'Hare, and Houston is George Bush. Those are the airports in those cities. So you do need to be willing to relocate to one of these cities. Training is in Houston. It's 6.5 weeks long. It is unpaid, but you do get $140 a week as per diem, and they cover lodging, transportation, and breakfast and lunch. So that's how training works. That's not unusual to have unpaid training kind of set up like that. Some airlines do pay for training, but it's not unusual to have unpaid training like this. The requirements is you do need to be 21 years old to apply. So we saw something kind of different with Delta, and I think American is only 20 years old, as Southwest as well, I think. But to apply with United, you need to already be 21 years old. You need to be able to reach 82 inches. So there's no height requirement. They're not going to measure your height, but they will have you do a reach test. So you need to measure, if you're concerned, if you need to measure from the ground up the wall 82 inches and then see if you can reach your arm that high. Okay, flat-footed. You need to be able to reach 82 inches. So that's about 6 feet 10 inches high, depending on how much you can stretch. I'm 5'2". I've never had a problem with it. I have a client who is 4'11" that was able to do it. So that, if that gives you a frame of reference, but again, it's easy for you to test if you can reach that high. I love that they give us the very specific information as far as how high you have to be able to reach. You need to have a passport. Okay, no. I do not believe you have to have a passport to apply, but when you get to training, you need to be in possession of a passport that has at least 30 months left. So go look at your passport. If you are within the 3-year mark, you may want to go ahead and start getting it renewed now so that you have it in your possession once you move through the process and you make it to training, you have one of those with at least 30 months. That's almost 3 years. That's 2.5 years of time left on your passport. All right. So that's a little bit about the requirements that you need to know. The application process is pretty standard. It's all done on the computer. You will need a resume. A cover letter is not necessary, but if you did want to create a cover letter or a letter of introduction, you can do that. I recommend that you go ahead and attach it as the front page of your resume. So your resume will be a PDF or Word document, and it can be multiple pages long. And if you make that first page the cover letter or the letter of introduction, then it just gives you one clean document to upload in case there's not a place for your cover letter if you work on one. I don't think cover letters, let me say this different. Covers letters are not necessary for most airlines flight attendant positions. They are not necessary. A computer will be looking at your resume at United. Southwest has people looking at resumes. United does not. They have a computer system that will screen through looking for keywords. So if you don't currently have a cover letter, or if you're struggling on a cover letter, or you don't know how to do a cover letter and you're about to like lose your religion over the whole cover letter thing, don't let this be a thing. Don't let this be a thing. Your resume is important. Your cover letter is not important. Okay. Resume is important. Interview prep is important. Interview skills are important. Cover letters, not important. Okay. So when you are getting your resume ready to go, though, I want you to go ahead and pull it out and look it over and kind of, since we have a few days, hopefully you're seeing this video and you have a few days. Even if you don't, you can take 10 minutes to do a last check review of your resume. United Airlines is 2 words. That's their name. It's not 3. It's United Airlines. Airline is 1 word. United Airline. It's not Airways. United Airlines. That's their name. Make sure if you have their name in your resume that it's spelled correctly and it is correct. Another thing that I wanted to I have some information that I researched and found that I thought would be valuable for you to hear and maybe even take some notes on as far as keywords, buzzwords, core values, mission statement, so that you can give your resume a United flavor by maybe replacing some of the words you have with the words that United uses and thinks are important that they use in their marketing and their branding. Okay. So one thing that I found on the official flight attendant informational document online, I don't work for, I already told y'all I got fired. I was going to give you like a disclosure. I don't work for United. This is not internal, but I already told you that they fired myself. So obviously I don't work for them, but I'll put the link in the description to this document that I found some of this information on so you can read the whole thing. But I went ahead and pulled out what I thought was important. So if you want to take some notes or jot down the words that you think are special that I say, then that will be helpful when you are doing your application, your resume, and your interview too. Really important in your interview as well. So flight attendants at United are expected to engage directly with customers. So where your resume says provide excellent customer service, maybe we could say provide excellent customer service and engage directly with customers. Look at that. We just made it match. So easy. They possess exceptional interpersonal skills. I don't love the word interpersonal skills because I think no one actually knows what it means, and I don't see it in that many job descriptions anymore because no one knows what it means. But if you know what it means, you can put it in the comments and then we'll have like a nice definition. That would be awesome. But they do have this on their description. So maybe adding it back into your resume if you don't have it in there now, that's probably one of the keywords that the computer system is set to look for. They're looking for people who exercise good judgment, are able to resolve conflicts with understanding, empathy, and grace. Grace, isn't that a great word? It's like a different word for like compassion or dignity. My daughter's name is actually Emily Grace because that's how important grace is to my life, our life. the world, human beings. But grace is sort of like graciousness is what they're talking about in this situation. So I just think that that's really cool that they use that word. It's such a special word, and that's what I mean when I'm saying for every airline how important it is to really read what they're saying, because they will tell you the way that they want you to say it. They will tell you what exactly they're looking for. It's not, give great customer service and diffuse difficult situations. They give you words, understanding, empathy, grace. Beautiful. Okay, next, moving on. They say equally as important. I don't know that it is actually equally as important, but they say it's equally important. Have fun. Fun. United Airlines is dropping the F bomb right there. That's unusual. That's new. Now, we don't see this in a core value like we do with Southwest and JetBlue, where it's very prominent and part of their company mission and core values, but they are putting have fun in their job description. So they are looking for a little bit maybe lighter and more fun and engaging personality or flight attendant, which is kind of cool. They have fun, see the world, make new friendships, and explore new cultures while creating memorable experiences for every customer, every flight, every day. So if you have like a cover letter or an introductory paragraph or something, this phrase, creating miserable, please don't put that on there. Creating memorable experiences for every customer, every flight, every day. Love that. That's so good. And that could be your objective, part of your objective, right? They are diverse, equitable. They're looking to create a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace in the world. Let me say that again. Goodness. I can't even read it. Diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace and world where we all thrive. Their current slogan is connecting people and uniting the world, but they also use their OG or their GOAT. I guess maybe GOAT would be better. I'm trying to be. Do you see how cool I am? Slogan, which is "Come fly the friendly skies." I mean, that's the one that we just know, and that was the United slogan a long time ago, and they brought it back within the last 10 years to sort of re-energize it because it is so famous and well known and well loved, I think, too. They have 4 core principles: safety, caring, dependable, and efficient. Or safe, caring, dependable, and efficient. That's the way it's said. All right. So they're committed to sustainability too. I think that that's good to note for your interview. You're probably not going to put anything about sustainability in your resume unless that really is the focus of one of your jobs, like you're an environmental lawyer or something like that. I don't know that I've ever actually met an environmental lawyer, but I feel like a lot of people in movies have that job. Now, that's the end of the resume section. Here we go for the interview. Here we go. This is probably why you're actually here. Interview. This is the current interview process for United. Right now, they are doing, okay, let's start. Application. The next step after your application is a live video interview. This is not on demand. It is not pre-recorded. They will set a time and you will meet with a real person. United, like every other airline, is short-staffed in their recruiting department. They are recruiting for recruiters. Recruiters recruiting recruiters. Anyways, because of that, for this step, they have been pulling people from a lot of different departments. I have one client who was interviewed by someone who was like in IT, different supervisors, someone who's like a maintenance supervisor interviewed a client. So they're pulling in people from all over the company to help host these or facilitate these interviews. The reason that that's important to know is you may not have someone who is passionate, trained, and dedicated to the talent acquisition mission doing your interview. That means they may not be as skilled or as proficient in giving interview questions and taking interview questions and making you feel comfortable and making you feel welcome. They may not make you feel that way. And the reason is because they're not in their sweet spot, zone of genius. They're not recruiters. Now, the reason that I mention this is because I've had some clients come back and say, it felt dry. It felt cold. It felt very just transactional, my interview. Now, all of those people also got invited to a face to face. So the feeling that you get, if it feels a little bit cold or a little bit rough, you just continue to shine. That is not a reflection of you. That more than likely is a reflection of them. And I don't mean that ugly. I just mean it's a reflection of them and their skill set, not you and your performance. So don't let that throw you off, and don't let that make you feel like, after, they don't warm up to you or love your first answer and you're just like, forget it, I lost it. Not the case. Keep going. Just kind of be prepared for that as a possibility. Hopefully that's not your experience. Hopefully you have like the sweetest, warmest, most loving recruiter on the other end of your live interview. But just in case, I wanted to kind of say that. You can expect about 5 questions, focus on star format. If you don't know what the star format is, or if you feel like your star format needs some practice, or if you just want to make sure that your star format is the best star format that you can give, please get yourself a copy of the Flight Attendant Career Connection Interview Workbook Bundle. I'm going to put the link in the description. It has training videos on the 4 different types of interview questions that you will encounter in any flight attendant interview, and a whole section on star format, how to break it down, how to pick your stories, examples. There's video training that goes with the workbook. So that's in the video training. And then the workbook has example questions, a lot of them, to help you get the juices flowing. So be ready for 5 star format questions. The next step after that, once you're successful with the video interview, you will be invited to a live face-to-face. So for your live face-to-face interview, it will either be held most likely in Houston, George Bush area, or Denver. So Houston or Denver. They were doing them in Denver kind of in the summer and into the fall. And then they moved it to Houston based on size, based on availability, weather, things like that. So you could go to one or the other. I think they're going to be maybe transitioning back to Denver a little bit too, coming up later this year. So either one, they do provide transportation to the face-to-face. They will fly you in. But if you need to go in a day early or stay a day late or something like that, is that lipstick? I don't think so. I think it's a weird shadow. You will have to pay for your own hotel, food and stuff like that. It's up to you, but they will fly you in and out. They do provide transportation. It is a pretty robust interview. It has several parts. You will do a group activity and you will also have a face-to-face. As of now, they're doing the same process for everyone. They're not making cuts in the middle like we see with American, where people are sort of weeded out throughout the day. You will stay and do both parts. So when you get there, they divide you into 2 groups. One group does the group interview. The other group does the face-to-face. Then they swap. Everyone gets to do everything. Sometimes they give out job offers on the spot. In Denver, they were not giving them out. When they started the interviewing, they were not giving out job offers on the spot. Then in Houston, they have been giving out some job offers on the spot. So if you walk away with a CJO, a conditional job offer, fantastic. That's what I hope for every single one of you. But if you don't, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a no for sure, because they do sometimes give out job offers through email. So don't let that, we just don't know. We just don't know. Once you get there, you will, like I said, you'll be divided into 2 groups. For the one group will go and do their face-to-face. So they will be waiting in a room, called out individually. It's a traditional one-on-one face-to-face interview that you imagine with a recruiter. They're going to, again, ask you 4 or 5 questions, focus on the star format. Again, they're going heavy on the star format this time around, which is fantastic. It's a great way to get to know someone, to have them tell you a story about a time that they did something or something happened to them. There's also a little bit of like, tell me what you think kind of stuff. I'm going to go over some of the questions to prepare for in just a minute, so that you will know kind of which stories you want to be working on and tweaking and polishing up. So after that, or the other part, it's not really after that. You could do that first or you could do that second. The other part is a group interview where you and your fellow candidates will be asked to complete a task, probably setting up a bar cart, which is an on-board beverage cart. Here's the thing, especially everyone who just went, I don't know how to set up card. Okay. So the test, anytime you have to do a group activity, they are not testing your skills, they're testing your teamwork. That's why they do a group activity. It's a psychological observation of you and your ability to collaborate, communicate, work with new teammates, solve a problem, work on a task that maybe you don't feel comfortable working on. There are so many different things that they're observing. The way you carry yourself, the way you squat in front of the cart, the way that you the tone of your voice, the how loud your voice is, all I can't remember what that's called. The sound of your voice, all of that. They're trying to find out. They're just trying to learn about you. They want to see how you act because when you are a flight attendant, you will get on board the airplane, you will meet your two new 4-day best friends and that you haven't met before, and you'll immediately get to work, one on one side of the cart, one on the other side, and you're working. At that point, you will have been trained on how to do the cart. So thankfully, you'll know what you're doing at that point. But for the group activity, they're not expecting you to actually know how to do the cart. So don't worry about not knowing how to do the cart or what to do. Listen to their instructions. If you don't understand or if you would like clarification, that's fine to ask for clarification or ask them to repeat the questions or however you need to do to get the information that you need to make sure you're clear on what your task is. But the main thing to focus on is the fact that you are working as a member of a team. That's the goal, to be a good teammate. The goal is not to put the bar cart together correctly. The goal is to be a good teammate and a good flight attendant, collaborative partner. So when I went to my very first interview with United, I went to a pre-screening interview in Dulles, and this was before video interviews. So they flew me to Dulles for this pre-screening interview before I went to Chicago for headquarters, because again, before the merger, I was in the interview, and at the end of it, she invited me to to Chicago for the face-to-face. And she went over what I could expect, similar to what I'm doing here for you. And I remember at the end, she was talking about the group activity, and she said, the key to the group activity is participate, don't dominate, and you'll do great. And I think that that is fantastic advice. Obviously, I'm still saying it 15 years later, but that's the perfect advice for the group activity. Participate, do not be a wallflower, don't dominate, don't be a bossy pants, and you will do great. So that is the end of the interview. Here's the questions for you to begin to review in your star format stories so that you can begin to polish them up and start to think and dust them off, pull them out of the back of your brain, dust them off, get them all shined up and ready to go. Again, the workbook bundle has training on all of these kinds of questions. If you, not if you are stuck, everyone needs to get it so you can listen to it so that you can get the examples and you can know how to best polish your star format questions. All right, here we go. To prepare, here's some of the things I want you to think about. I want you to think about a time that you may have met someone new, worked with someone new, or taught someone something new. I want you to think about times that you've solved a problem, maybe one that you didn't have a solution to, maybe one that had multiple solutions, maybe one that you needed to phone a friend to get a solution to the problem. I want you to think about a time that maybe you were blamed for something that you didn't do. Maybe you had a customer who was mad about something that had happened that you actually weren't responsible for, but you are now here cleaning up, picking up the pieces, cleaning up the mess. Maybe they're upset, that maybe they're blaming you for it. Prepare one like that. I want you to think about the jobs that you liked, know why you liked them. Think about jobs or tasks that you've had that you didn't like, know why you didn't like them. I want you to think about times that you had fun at work, times that you had a good day at work. I want you to think about these kinds of things. And I want you to think about a time that you had to help a customer who was maybe annoyed or frustrated or difficult. And I want you to think about a time that it was important for you to make a good impression on someone. And then finally, so those are kind of star format ones. Finally, I also think that it's important that you know why you want to work for United Airlines and why you want to be a flight attendant. Why you want to be a flight attendant for United Airlines. Those questions may or may not come up. I get a lot of feedback that it's very star format focused. These questions are not star format. Why do you want to work for United? Why do you want to be a flight attendant? And why do you want to be a flight attendant for United? These are not star format questions. Don't try to star format them, first of all. Don't situation, task, action, and result them. But it is important for you to go into an interview knowing in your knower why you want to work for these airlines and having a nice answer for these questions. Because, first of all, as you prepare these questions, you will learn about the company and you will learn about yourself and you will learn about why you're a good fit, which will get you so excited and get you so prepared to go in there and really allow them to see how authentically passionate and connected you are to the company. And when they do ask you the question, when and if they do ask you the question, you'll be ready. You'll have your question, your answer ready to go. And you can share from the heart as to why you want to work for United and why you want to be a flight attendant. Okay, that's all I've got for you today about United Airlines. Thank you for spending some time with me. I would love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, if you would like this video, if you would leave a comment, if you have any other questions, or if you have any other comments about United or the process or anything like that, please leave me a comment below. I love reading those. Thank you for your time. Thank you for spending some time with me. I believe in you. I believe that the flight attendant career is a powerful and an honorable one. And I'm so excited for you that you're pursuing it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.